Scary.
By the way, did we introduce you yet?
Who are you?
You don't know who Joe is?
No.
Joe Lozito.
Who is he?
Grab the mic. I thought we introduced you before. This your first time here? I'm such a dick. I've invited Joe many times to come and watch the show. He's a big Opie and Anthony fan. And I met him at UFC. Dana loves Joe. You just tell people what you did. Sorry to change the subject.
I've seen you before, but I don't know who you are or what you do.
About a year ago, I was on the subway, and I got attacked by Maxim Gelman, who had killed 4 people the night before. And he attacked me, and I took him down and held him there for the cops.
Wait, who's this guy?
Guy killed 4 people with a knife. He was a psychopath.
Downtown?
That was wasn't that the Russian guy from Brooklyn?
Yeah.
He killed his wife or his girlfriend and the mother.
Yeah, girl he was stalking, and her mom, and he killed his stepfather, and he hit 2 people with cars. One of them died, and one of them didn't. So he stabbed 3 people to death and ran over 1 other person.
And then you got involved?
Well, I was on the subway going to work one day, and I'm just sitting there, and Opie, it was the day after the Islanders played Pittsburgh, that revenge game when they beat the shit out of them, and they scored 9
great
goals.
Fucking game.
So I'm working on only a couple hours sleep.
Right.
And I'm just sitting on the subway waiting to go to work, and this guy's pacing the train, and the cops are on the train looking for him. Long story short, he whips out 8-inch cooking knife and tells me I'm going to die, and lunges at me, cuts me here.
You're the guy that got cut?
Yeah.
And I know who you are.
Yeah.
You were in the paper.
Yeah.
And you're a fan of our show?
Oh, big fan.
I told you he's a big fan.
Why are you always surprised when someone is a fan of the show?
And I've been telling him because Dana
I'm more
loves
excited
him.
that he's a fan of our show.
Oh, huge.
Dana White loves him.
Holy fuck, I remember you.
And
I
that
see him every
metal show,
UFC
by
we
the way.
talk.
Big fan of that metal show, too.
Awesome, man.
Yeah, you were in the paper, man. Yeah, he sliced you, but then you took him down.
Yeah, I took him down with a single leg, and while I was taking him down, he carved up the back of my head a little bit.
Yeah.
And,
Well, you take martial arts?
Never.
Oh,
I'm going to.
Oh, you just grabbed his leg and brought him down.
Yeah, I mean, I've been watching it since '93, so I guess if you watch it that long, the shit just stays in your head. So.
Oh, what were you thinking when that happened? I never asked you that.
When it's funny because when he takes the knife out, it kind of happens in slow motion, because the first thing I noticed was how dirty the knife was, and you just look at the blade and it has something on it, and I didn't know what it was, if it was blood or dirt. And actually, what I was thinking of was my wife and kids. Like, I got to get off this train, because now we're in the tunnel. We're not even at a stop. We're in between Penn and 42nd. So we're in the tunnel, and I'm going, all right, it's on. But I'm really thinking I have to get off this train, so I'm going to bleed to death.
Were there other people on the train?
The car was, the car was full. There were 2 cops in with the driver, and there were more people in the car when it happened than when I got up. A lot of people had run to the second car.
Had anybody helped you?
One person helped me. His name's Alfred Douglas. Once I got up, and I was sitting there just bleeding to death, this man came over and he helped the police officers handcuff him and restrain him, and then he got up and he started actually yelling at the other people on the train. Nobody's going to help this guy. He's bleeding to death. How could nobody help this guy? And he came over and he just put his hand on my biggest wound back here, and then someone gave him tissues, and he basically stayed with me, and tried to calm me down and everything, but he's a godsend.
How many stitches in the end?
Total, I'm not sure. I got in the big wound behind my ear here. I got 20 stitches and 18 staples just in the one, but I have 4 or 5 other wounds. So I would say stitches and staple wise, you're probably talking over 100.
Fuck, you were bleeding to death.
Why do you think he went after you? I mean, you're a big guy.
Yeah, why of all people would he pick the fucking bald guy with the goatee and tattoos?
I'm sitting here looking at him like, what the fuck?
I honestly, like, the old joke is he went after the ugliest guy on the train, but I think I was just in the right. He tried to get in to the driver, and I was basically on the other side of the door where the driver drives the train. I might have just been in the wrong spot. I think he might have gone after anyone if they were sitting in that spot.
So he looked at you and said, did you engage him or say anything to him or no?
No, once he, basically he starts banging on the driver's door, and I don't know if he knew the cops were in there or not, and he basically told...
How long did it take the cops to come out?
A little too long. Long enough for him to butcher my head.
Why the fuck didn't they come right out?
I don't know. And they were on the train specifically looking for him. They were in there looking for him, and basically what he did was, if you've been on the subway in the first car, you know that the door where the driver is, there's a window. And when I first noticed him, he's banging on the window saying, "Let me in. I'm the police." And I heard the police officer on the other side go, "You're not the police." And it was calm. He just walked away. As he walks away, there's a guy standing next to me, and he goes to the door. Now, he's banging on the window, but he's banging on the window looking over his shoulder. And I'm, like, looking around going, what the fuck is going on? I just got to get to work, you know? And they still didn't come out.
They were scared.
Possibly.
I think they were scared.
So then the second guy that's banging on the window keeps looking over his shoulder, waiting to see when this guy's going to walk back up. And just as he started to walk back up, the guy next to me, he just bolts from the door, stands right back next to me. Wow. And as Gelman is walking back up to the door, I don't know if he's going to try to get in again, but it's just like he stopped. He was maybe 2 or 3 feet from me and just takes out the knife and tells me I'm going to die.
Oh. He said that?
Wow.
Just
Yeah,
like
he said,
that?
you're going to die, you're going to die. And then
Where'd he
that
get
was
you
it.
first? In the face?
He got me here first, right under my left eye.
Scary.
And then what?
He got me here, then I went in for the single leg, and while my right shoulder was into his, say, midsection, he's got his right hand going like this to the back
Was
of
he
my
a big
head.
guy? He was a big guy, right?
He was probably 6'1", maybe $180. You know?
Okay.
He looks a little chubbier now in the pictures I've seen of him in jail, but basically he's carving me up by my ear and behind my head while I'm taking him down. Then when I took him down, he still has the knife in his right hand, and he's flailing up. So the first time he flailed up, he caught me in the thumb. He sliced my thumb to the tendon. The second time he flailed up, he sliced me on the tricep.
No, are you feeling pain at this thing, or is the adrenaline?
No, right now I'm not feeling anything. Finally, the third time he's trying to cut me, I catch his wrist and I slam it down. And when I slam it down, he drops a knife.
And nobody went over and helped while he was on the ground and you were trying to... I mean,
No.
it's easy for me to say it, but...
No. Nobody.
And the cops knew what he looked like, obviously, because he started in Brooklyn and was going. So the cop in there obviously knew that was the guy when he's like, "You're not the cops."
Yeah.
Why didn't he come out right then? And
I don't know.
Why wouldn't the cop walk out when someone's banging on the thing saying, "I'm the police"?
Well, the funny thing
Exactly.
is, I live in, I'm back on Long Island now. I used to live in Philadelphia. So when this happened, I was in Philadelphia. I hadn't seen a New York paper that day. So I'm on the train. Citizens in New York knew what was going on because it was big news here. I had no idea. So that's why what happened was he was at 96th Street on the platform, and this woman is just standing there reading the paper, and she's reading an article about him. And he goes up to the woman, and he just points his finger right in the paper and goes, "Do you see this shit they're writing about me? It's not true," and like swats the paper out of her hand. So she obviously knows who he is. She hightails it upstairs, calls the police, says, "This guy's in the subway system." So now that all the cops are descending down there, that's why the 2 cops that were in my car were on the train looking for him. And
Were they young cops?
no, the male cop was actually bigger than I was, and the female cop was, I guess, average size, whatever.
I'm surprised she didn't run out. That's what you want when there's a...
Yeah, so no, they were, like I said, the male cop's bigger than me, and I knew that they were. It's like you see on TV where you sign in or whatever roll call, and they say this is the guy we're looking for. Because when I got to the hospital, I was lying there, and they're cutting off my clothes and everything just to make sure I wasn't wounded anywhere else. And a cop comes around to the table by my head, and he holds up a mugshot that they showed at the precincts that morning. And he said, "Is this the guy that did this to you?" And I said, "Yeah." And he says, "Well, you're a hero." And I said, "I'm not a hero. Why am I a hero?" And he goes, "Well, he killed 4 people last night." And that was the first...
That you heard of it.
That's the first I'd heard of it. I had no idea.
What was the police explanation as to why they sat in the fucking car while you were being stabbed and they have guns?
Well, if you read the newspapers, the official police stance is that they tackled him, and not only did the 2 cops on the train tackle him, an off-duty cop also tackled him. If you listen to the official statements by the police, I'm just the victim. I didn't do anything. They came in and rescued me.
Why? And who's backing them? The police union, right?
I don't know.
So you held him down, and then the cops came and took him?
Yeah.
So you got him a point. The knife was away from him,
Yep.
and you had him on the ground.
He dropped the knife when I caught his wrist and slammed it down to the ground.
Do you think if you had recognized who he was, you would have been a little bit more intimidated and maybe not been able to take him down, thinking, "Oh, this is that killer"?
It's, you know what, it's always possible. It's the kind of thing where, when everything first happened to me, you guys know this better than anyone. You read what people write on the internet, and I've seen people make comments, "Oh yeah, if that was me, I would have done the same thing." And You know, honestly, you don't know that until you're in that position. So I don't know how I would have reacted. I would like to think that I would have maybe done something sooner before he attacked me. Maybe when he turned around to walk away, maybe try to get behind him and take him down before he hurt anybody. But can't answer that honestly because I don't know.
And I would have hightailed it to the second car, by the way, for the record. I'm talking shit, but I would have hightailed it until he was secure. Then I would have run over and kicked the knife away.
Well, obviously we got to get this guy a Opie and Anthony T-shirt.
Jim, to answer your question,
I think it's only fair. Maybe I think we'll even sign one for once. This guy needs a T-shirt, Sam.
And I didn't actually feel any pain. See, the other thing that with this case is I sat on that train bleeding for about 20 minutes. The train was stopped in the tunnel. They didn't get the train going again because they said the police were on the tracks. So I'm basically sitting there bleeding to death. And
in between stops?
In between.
Oh, how scary is that?
Right. So I'm basically screaming, begging the police, you guys have to get me off this train. I have 2 young kids. I have a wife, you got to get me off this train. And I'm like, why aren't we moving? Why aren't we moving? And at one point, right when we got to 42nd, I blacked out. And I blacked out with my eyes open. And one thing I heard them say was they termed me likely. And I didn't know what that meant. My sister is a cop. So I asked her what that meant. And it means likely to die. Okay. And then when I woke up is when I felt the pain. Then I felt like someone doused my head with gasoline and just lit it on fire. I mean, I can't even describe the pain. It was unbelievable. Yeah. But I had enough adrenaline going before I passed out where I didn't feel anything. And then when I woke up, it was just, you still like I've never felt.
You obviously got the scars, but do you have injuries still? Like nerve damage or?
I think I have, there's probably some nerve damage to my thumb. Like I said, he cut me to the tendon and I still get pins and needles. Even lifting something like a half gallon of milk is difficult.
Right.
It's more psychological than anything. I can't tell you the last day I didn't wake up with a headache. I have headaches all the time. I have anxiety. I have things like that. But, I try to put that all past me because I have a family.
And it beats the option.
Yes.
Which was you being number 5.
Yes, exactly. And that was my thought process is when I'm on the train, I wasn't thinking I'm going to be number 5 because I didn't know about it. I'm thinking if he's going to kill me, I'm going down with a fight.
And Dana White's a big fan, huh?
Yeah.
Big fan of your story, I should say.
You know what? The ironic thing is he was in New York the Monday after.
Right.
And the way the story goes is I got a call from Channel 5, or a text from Channel 5 saying that Dana White wants to meet you. And I figured, all right, it would be somewhere down the road. He's probably in Vegas or whatever. And then he goes, well, he's in New York today. He wants to bring you over to meet him and everything. And he was interested in your story because apparently what was happening was they were in a big meeting that day, all the UFC people, and their phones started blowing up because I was doing all the TV interviews saying, I just watch UFC. I've been a fan since UFC 1.
Oh, okay.
And that's how they had heard about it because every time, it was brought up to me, do you fight? Do you train? And I would say no, but the extent of my training is ordering pay-per-views, pushing order on the remote. And, I've just been a fan since the first one, and I watch all of them religiously, and he heard that, and he jumped all over it.
Wow. Jesus.
That's cool, because we've met, I knew you were sitting, I didn't realize this was your first time here.
Yeah,
I've seen you so many times at events, we always talk.
I said hi and all, I didn't know the story.
Yeah. I thought he'd been here before, and you know him, and he was just a regular coming in.
And just the hanger
But that's why he looked familiar. I remember it from TV.
And I'm like, wait a minute, did Joe ever even get introduced?
I don't know.
I'm glad I
never
thought
met.
that.
No, actually, I shouldn't say that. We did meet once when I worked at Madison Square Garden. You guys came to a show to see Ricky Gervais, and I actually gave you your tickets.
Oh, right, the Paramount. Right,
yes,
Paramount?
yeah.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, so we did meet once, and Jim, you look miserable going in. So
did I really?
Yeah, you look so unhappy.
I did enjoy Ricky that night, though.
Now you understand what we go through.
Yeah. No, it was just funny because you were fine, and I didn't know you
happy-go-lucky
at the time. Yeah.
Why do you think you were?
You just came to the window. You just had to puss on, like what you'd expect from how you describe yourself. But
why was I unhappy? Because I was going to watch a comedy show with 5,000 people that I was having nothing to do with.
Right, and you were doing
It's like going to a porno shoot with a mop.
Well, I don't think the T-shirt's going to fit, but
Do you got a medium for Joe?
I think he deserves a Opie and Anthony T-shirt.
Can I also give him a copy of Mr. P?
Mr. P on
That'd be
iTunes.
awesome. That would be great.
On sale now on iTunes. I actually tried to order it again yesterday, but they said
Thank
I've
you
already
very much.
downloaded it.
You're welcome.
You can't download it twice?
I don't think you can.